Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Arpita Karwa and today we are here with a very interesting video. But before that, few questions for you. Are you just starting your UGC NET English preparation and feeling overwhelmed by the huge syllabus already? Do you wonder what exactly to study and how to cover such a vast syllabus efficiently in limited type 3? If you don't have answers to all these questions, don't worry, you're not alone. In today's video, we are going to break down everything you need to know as a beginner, from what to include in your syllabus to how to cover it smartly. By the end of this video, I can assure you that you'll have a clear roadmap to start your UGC NET English preparation with confidence. So if you're just beginning or about to start your UGC NET English journey, stay with me till the end and let's simplify your preparation together. Okay, friends, so the first question that comes to our mind is what should we study? पहला सवाल आता है आखिर क्या क्या कवर करना है यूजीसी नेट इंग्लिश में एंड द आंसर इज सिंपल you need to first understand the syllabus. Think of it this way. Imagine you decide to bake a cake, but wait, you don't know the ingredients or the method to bake a cake. Will you ever be able to make it successfully? बिल्कुल नहीं. Exactly. Just like baking requires the knowledge of right ingredients and the process, cracking UGC NET English requires knowing what topics to cover and how to approach them. Let's take another example. Let's say you want to travel from Jaipur to Delhi. You know your destination, but you don't know the route. How will you reach there? Just think about a time when there's no Google Map and you do not have anybody around you to look out and seek direction. How will you reach there? Similarly, you know you have to clear UGC NET English, but without the knowledge of syllabus, without the understanding of syllabus, without understanding what to study, you won't know which direction to study. So that is the reason why it is very important for you to answer few very simple questions, and one of the most important question out of the list of questions that you should ask yourself before even begin your preparation is what is the syllabus and what are the topics or writers that I have to study in order to crack net. So before moving on, did I mention that I've created a PDF that summarizes this entire video and provides you with exam ready notes. If you are looking for notes in a PDF format, which can tell you the exact roadmap of UGC NET English, then you just have to drop a message on the WhatsApp number on the screen or click on the WhatsApp link in the description box, and I'm going to send the PDF right on your phone. Now that we have understood why knowing the syllabus is important, let's talk about two common mistakes that students make while preparing for UGC NET English. Friends, the first mistake is relying on your UG and PG syllabus. That means your undergrad and post-graduation syllabus that you have studied for your bachelor's and master's. You are just relying on that syllabus or the study material that you have gathered during your UG and PG time. And this is one of the biggest mistakes a student can make. A common piece of advice that is generally given to beginners is that study whatever you've read during your UG and PG, and that is the syllabus of UGC NET exam. But let me tell you, this is a extremely bad strategy, something which never works. Let me tell you why this strategy does not work. I tried it myself when I was preparing for UGC NET way back in 2017. Even after revising my entire UG and PG syllabus, I realized I could only answer 2-3 questions in the UGC NET PYQ. I tried solving one question paper before proceeding further, and despite being a gold medalist in my masters and my bachelor's, I could not answer more than 2-3 questions. So you have to understand that this doesn't work even for a topper. Imagine how ineffective it is going to be for everybody else. Also note that UGC NET is an MCQ based exam, while university exams are subjective. The way you study for an MCQ exam is completely different from how you study for subjective written papers. So you should also take in account that most colleges across India only teach selective works of writers. For example, let's say when studying T.S. Eliot, mostly colleges में क्या पढ़ाया जाता है, wasteland. But do you know that there's a work written by T.S. Eliot called The Four Quadrants? And this is a work from where multiple times questions have been asked in NET exams. So suppose you only revise your bachelor's and master's syllabus and you go and sit for the exam, और question baseline की जगह कोई और minor work से आ गया T.S. Eliot के, so how will you approach that? Similarly, अगर हम बात करते हैं writers like Robert Burton. Now, Robert Burton's Anatomy of Melancholy is a very famous work, which is asked almost every year in UGC NET exam, but it has never been taught in any college across India. UGC NET asks about a wide range of works and authors, and the exam doesn't just test you on famous works, but also test you on the lesser known but important texts that are not even taught in any good university or college across India. Hence, friends, the mistake that you're making here is that you are limiting yourself to the UGPG syllabus, and this is going to be a very, very big roadblock in your preparation. It's not enough to just stick to your UGPG syllabus when it comes to an exam as difficult as UGC NET. You need a wider, well-researched study plan that we are going to discuss in this particular video. Now, let's talk about the second mistake. It is studying only from the syllabus that is prescribed by NTA. So we all know that NTA has prescribed a syllabus. You can see that on your screen. The first unit is poetry, second is drama, and so on and so forth. Now, some students would think that, okay, when they have to begin their preparation, they would directly go to the NTA website, download the syllabus, and then they think that, okay, let me start preparing from this syllabus. Many students think that since NTA has given a syllabus, they should just follow that and nothing else. But here's the reality. NTA's syllabus is just indicative. It is not exhaustive. UGC NET syllabus is so broad and so big that NTA has not done enough to tell you the boundary under which you have to cover the topics. For example, it simply says drama. Now, it doesn't specify which dramatist should you study, in how much detail do you have to study, उनके कौन से dramas को आपको detail में पढ़ना है. There are no clear answers. That is the reason why many students, despite putting in so much efforts, are never able to clear NET in their first or second attempt. Why? Because they are just either looking at the UGPG syllabus or they are sticking to the syllabus prescribed by NTA. And friends, many students get confused here. Many students don't know after looking at the syllabus that what they have to study, which writers they have to focus on, how much detail do they have to go into for each writer. And as the result, they either study too much of irrelevant topics जहाँ से questions आ ही नहीं रहे, or they miss out on the most important ones जो बार बार repeat हो रहे हैं. You will be surprised to know that whenever in literary circles I sit with these professors and I go on these book tours with McGraw-Hill and I meet professors and HODs of English department of different colleges across India. All of us sit together and we say that UGC NET English syllabus के को अगर एक लाइन में बताया जाए तो वो ये होता है, anything that is written or translated in English language is the part of the syllabus. That means the syllabus is so vast that you have to study not only British literature but you also have to study French and German writers because वो English में translate करेंगे. You will have to study Kalidas, you will have to study Premchand. So anything that is written in English or that has ever been translated in English is a part of the syllabus. And this is the harsh reality, and this is the reason why students are never able to clear this exam in their first attempt. So, एक बात तो आप गांठ मान लो, anything written or translated in English is a part of the syllabus. This means that syllabus is extremely vast and you need to go beyond what's mentioned in the NTA syllabus. The exam can ask you anything from Premchand to Kalidas to German and even African writers. And that is the reason you have to keep yourself thoroughly prepared. Okay friends, so now that we know what mistakes students make when it comes to finalizing the syllabus or deciding which writers to study and what not to study, the next question is that how do we actually find out the real syllabus of UGC NET, and how do we know which writers to study and which writers to not study? So for that, I would like to tell you that recently I posted a detailed video on how you can cover UGC NET syllabus for both paper 1 and paper 2 in just 5 months. And I gave a very detailed approach on how a beginner can start its preparation. Now, I've also explained how to identify exam relevant topics and provided a structured strategy for paper 1, which you can also apply to paper 2 as well. So, I would want that apart from this video, you also watch the other video. You will be able to find it on my channel. I will, I'm also showing you the thumbnail so that you can identify which video am I talking about. But given that I have already given you a strategy in that video, let me specifically talk about UGC NET English in today's video. Okay. And let us now try to understand that if a student wants to create a detailed syllabus, an exhaustive list of topics that are actually relevant from an exam perspective, then how can the student do that? So don't worry, I have a 3-step formula that will help you do exactly that. So let us begin by step number 1. And this is the strategy that any student who wants to clear UGC NET in first attempt, or who is preparing for UGC NET for the first time, should adopt in order to gain confidence that, okay, this is how we need to tackle the humongous syllabus. Okay. Step number 1 is to download the previous 10 years UGC NET English question papers. You can easily find them on my website. It is available for free. Solved questions आपको मिलेंगे past 10 years के. In total, you will get about 3,000-4,000 questions, and you will have to then start the second step, which is once you have the past year questions in your hand, the next step would be to analyze them carefully. You have to look at each question and keep a separate notebook with yourself. And after you look at each question, you have to keep mentioning the writer from which that question has been asked and which specific work of that writer has been asked. So you have to keep a separate notebook or an Excel sheet you can maintain, and you have to keep reading the question. You don't have to solve it. We're just trying to create an exhaustive list here. So step 1 would be to download the 10 years paper. Step 2 would be to start reading each and every question from those 10 years papers and simultaneously jotting down the writers and the works that have been asked in the past 10 years papers. अब इससे होगा क्या कि आपको पता चलता जाएगा कि ऐसे कौन से राइटर्स है जो पूछे जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि अभी हमने देखा कि सिलेबस तो अथाह है. Anything that is written or translated in English comes under the vicinity of UGC NET English exam. So हम सब कुछ तो नहीं पढ़ सकते. तो जब हम पास्ट 10 years के पेपर्स एनालाइज करेंगे तो हमें पता चलेगा अच्छा ये कौन से क्वेश्चंस हैं या कौन से राइटर्स हैं जो पूछे जा रहे हैं, उनके कौन से वर्क से क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा रहे हैं. Another interesting thing that you can do is that every time a writer or a work repeats, you don't have to mention it again in the notebook. You can just go to that particular point जहाँ पे आपने उस राइटर का वर्क मेंशन किया था. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर इन्होंने रॉबर्ट ब्राउनिंग का माई लास्ट डचेस से क्वेश्चन पूछा है और वापस से अगले साल वापस क्वेश्चन पूछा है, तो आपने एक बार लिखा है पहले रॉबर्ट ब्राउनिंग डैश माई लास्ट डचेस, उसके बाद में आप स्टार मार्क कर दीजिए या टैली बना दीजिए, ताकि आपको पता रहेगा कि ये जब आपकी पूरी लिस्ट बन जाएगी 10 साल के पेपर्स देख के कि कौन से वो राइटर्स है जिनके वर्क्स बार बार रिपीटेडली आ रही है, ऐसे कौन से वर्क्स है जो हर साल पूछे जा रहे हैं. सो देन यू विल नो विच ऑफ देम आर द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट ones that you should tackle first. Okay, so once you have gone through all the PYQs, you have made an exhaustive list. Now comes step number 3, which is after listing all the important writers and works that have been asked in the PYQs, the next step would be to group them into different categories. For example, जितने भी romantic writers हैं उनको एक में डाल दीजिए. तभी मैंने कहा आप एक्सेल मेंटेन कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज आपको सिर्फ कट पेस्ट करना होगा. अफ्रीकन अमेरिकन राइटर्स को एक साथ कर दीजिए, मॉडर्न राइटर्स को एक साथ कर दीजिए, बिकॉज जब आप क्वेश्चन पेपर करेंगे तो मिक्स आएगा. कभी एक क्वेश्चन मॉडर्न से आ रहा है, फिर अफ्रीकन अमेरिकन से आएगा, फिर इंडियन से आएगा, और आप उसी सीक्वेंस में नोटबुक में लिखते जा रहे हैं. सो व्हेन you move to step 3, that is when you segregate these writers under different heading. By doing this, you will have a structured list of topics that are exam relevant, and this ensures that your preparation has a clear direction. And as a famous quote goes, that activity without direction is just change. Activity with direction is progress. So अगर मैं बहुत पढ़ रही हूँ लेकिन मैं सही डायरेक्शन में नहीं पढ़ रही हूँ तो मेरा रिजल्ट कभी अच्छा नहीं आएगा. बट अगर मैं सही डायरेक्शन में पढ़ रही हूँ तो मैं प्रोग्रेस करूंगी. So if you want to progress, if you want to qualify UGC NET in first attempt, then you have to follow this strategy. इसमें आपको 10 से 15 दिन लगेंगे. I am telling you in advance कि जब आपको 2000 क्वेश्चंस को एक एक क्वेश्चन को पढ़ के लिस्ट बनानी है तो उसमें 10 से 15 दिन आपको लगेंगे. But once you have made that list, once you have that exhaustive list of all the writers that has ever been asked in NET exam, you exactly know कि आपको कहाँ से शुरू करना है और कौन कौन से writers आपको पढ़ने हैं. Now I know that some of you must be thinking that अर्पिता this is a lot of work. हम 15 दिन, हमारे पास तो एग्जाम में दिन ही बहुत कम है, हम 15 दिन सिर्फ ये लिस्ट बनाने में लगा देंगे तो तुम पढ़ेंगे कैसे? So then there's a good news that I've already analyzed the past 10 years question papers. I've listed down the writers and I've also categorized it. That means मैंने आपके लिए step 1, 2, 3 already करा है. And I have that entire list available free of cost on my website arpitakarwa.com. That is the exact list जिससे मैंने UGC NET first attempt में clear किया. This is the list that I have been teaching in my online course from past 8 years, and now this is the list that we keep updating as a team every year. जो भी नए writers आते हैं उसको हम इसमें add करते हैं, जो writers नहीं पूछे जा रहे हैं उनको हम वहाँ से delete करते हैं. So the fully categorized list of exam relevant writers and works are available free of cost on my website arpitakarwa.com. You can see that on your screen right now. Instead of spending hours creating this list from scratch, you can simply go to my website and then you can make a list of the writers and then you can start preparing. So if you are someone who wants to save time and directly focus on important topic, then this list is going to be a game changer in your preparation. So now, some of you might be wondering that, okay, Arpita, now I have a list, but where do I study these writers from? That's where we have another interesting resource for you, and that is our online video course for paper 2, wherein all the writers that you can see on my website, we have given specific animated video lectures for all of these writers, and these are short animated lectures about 10 to 15 minutes each, where we cover each and every writer, and then there are specific lectures for all the important works. So we are explaining summaries of all these important works. So let's say if we talk about William Shakespeare, so William Shakespeare में there are about 15 to 17 उनके प्लेस जहाँ से क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, एंड वी हैव गिवन स्पेसिफिक लेक्चर्स फॉर ईच ऑफ दीज प्लेस जिसमें हम पूरा प्ले का समरी, सारे कैरेक्टर्स आपको एनिमेटेड वीडियो फॉर्म में समझा रहे हैं. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ रीडिंग हंड्रेड्स ऑफ पेजेस टू know the summary of these works, you can simply watch this 10-15 minute videos that are there as a part of my online course, and you will be able to get all the information that you need to crack this exam in a concise and engaging format without wasting time on irrelevant details. If you still need a detailed strategy, then you can give a call on the number that is flashing on your screen, and my team will be more than happy to assist you in your journey. Okay friends, so now that we know using the 3-step formula how to create an exhaustive list of writers that will help you crack it, let us now discuss the list which I call as the real or the actual syllabus of UGC NET. So let's dive into the syllabus. Many students feel overwhelmed when they first see the syllabus because it covers multiple literary periods and geographical locations, and it is very, very detailed. But yet, I always believe that if you take one step every single day, if you try and cover 5 writers on a daily basis, then in 4-5 months period, you can cover this entire list that I'm going to discuss with you right in this video. Okay. So if we talk about the syllabus of paper 2, I have divided it into 5 core units, which is based on literary periods and geographical locations. And then there is another set of units which are basically talking about things like literary theory, criticism, cultural studies and all of that. So let's first look at the 5 core units which forms the backbone of English literature. So to begin with, I call these units as modules. Okay, so the first module is British literature, and this is the lengthiest section. It covers about 50% of the syllabus. You will see about 40 to 50% of the weightage of British literature in the question paper as well. Okay, so this is, as I told you, the largest portion of the syllabus, and this has about 300 plus writers. You can check the detailed list of all the important writers segregated age wise on my website. I'm also doing a crash course series on my YouTube where every week I upload videos on each of these age. We discuss the socio-political background, literary characteristics of the age, and then the most important writers and their works. So all of that is discussed in a 10-15 minute video, so you can also follow that playlist. Now, as I mentioned that when you start your British literature preparation, the first thing that you have to do in your head is to divide it into different ages. So we start with Anglo-Saxon age, moving to medieval, then Elizabethan period, then we have Restoration, Enlightenment, Romantic, Victorian, Modern, and Postmodern. So this is how the journey transitions. Then within each age, you will further have to categorize writers based on the works that they were writing. For example, you will categorize them under poets, dramatists, essayists, and novelists. The initial few ages will just have poetry and dramas. They would not have novelists because novels came into the picture much later, around 1600s, 1700s was the time when the first novel was written. So before that, all you have is poetry and drama. Okay, so once you make this list and you understand them by categorizing them into different ages, you will be able to streamline your preparation for the most challenging unit of all, which is British literature. So rather than randomly reading some different writers and their works, I would suggest you very strongly to have a very chronological based approach so that it helps you to even remember dates during the time when it is asked in the exam. Then comes module number 2, which is American literature. Now you will think that, okay, British ke baad mein American kyun? So basically, let me tell you something very, very surprising. Okay, you will see on your screen a world map. Okay, when you look closely at the world map and you closely analyze the map, you will see that अभी हम जितने भी आगे units की बात करेंगे, we will cover the entire map closely. Okay, because as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, that anything that is written or translated in English, that was written ever or translated ever in English, is a part of the UGC NET syllabus. So technically पूरा वर्ल्ड मैप के जितने भी कंट्रीज है उनके सारे मेजर राइटर्स हमको पढ़ने हैं. अभी जब हम फर्स्ट मॉड्यूल करे हैं ब्रिटिश लिटरेचर, सो वी हैव ओनली कवर्ड वन सेक्शन, दैट इज इंग्लैंड. इफ यू जूम इन टू द मैप एंड यू सी यूरोप के अंदर इंग्लैंड जो कंट्री है, हमने सिर्फ अभी उसको कवर किया है. काफी स्टूडेंट्स ये सोचते हैं कि अगर हमने ब्रिटिश लिटरेचर कर दिया तो हमारा लिटरेचर का यूजीसी नेट इंग्लिश का कोर्स हो गया, बट दैट्स एन एब्सोल्यूट मिथ. व्हाई? बिकॉज टेक्निकली आपको पूरा वर्ल्ड मैप के सारे मेजर कंट्रीज के मेजर राइटर्स को पढ़ना होगा, एंड ब्रिटिश लिटरेचर इज जस्ट वन country out of all the countries. Okay, so now let us move to module number 2, where we look at the next big country or I would say area जहाँ पे English सबसे ज़्यादा dominant है. So English originated from Britain. That's why British literature, it becomes an extremely crucial part. Then the next big country, the next big English speaking country in the world is America. So then we look at American literature. Now, here you have to study all the key American writers, poets, and dramatists. Again, if you look at my website syllabus, I have divided them into ages. So, Romantic age, Victorian age, Modern age, सबके writers अलग है. इसमें भी आपको same poets, dramatists, novelists सबको अलग-अलग पढ़ना है. Now, after you have covered these two, so अब वापस से हम world map को देखते हैं. We have covered Britain, we have covered America, but अभी भी बहुत बड़ा portion बचा है. So now we will club a few of these countries together, who we call as the post-colonial countries, and we will combine all these countries and study them under one heading, that is module number 3, post-colonial literature. Now, if you look at the third unit that we are going to discuss, इसके अंदर आपको literature पढ़ना है from Africa, from Mexico, course, you have African American writers, Mexican writers, you have Australian writers, and you have all the countries that were colonized by the British. Although India was also a British colony, but since we are studying in India, we have separate. We are going to do a separate study of Indian literature as an independent unit because a lot of questions are asked specifically from Indian authors. So जो बाकी post colonial कंट्रीज हैं उनको हम एक साथ एक जगह पढ़ सकते हैं, बट इंडिया की स्टडी हमें अलग से करनी होगी. ओके, सो पोस्ट कॉलोनियल लिटरेचर आप जैसे ही करते हैं, इफ यू अगेन लुक एट द वर्ल्ड मैप, सो यू विल सी कि हमने अफ्रीका कवर किया है, हमने कनाडा कवर किया है, हमने मेडिटेरियन सी के अराउंड आपको करेबियन आइलैंड्स दिखेगा, वो हमने कवर किया, हमने ऑस्ट्रेलिया कवर किया. सो यू कैन सी कि हमने काफी सारे कंट्रीज अब कवर कर लिए. सो now if you look at the world map again, you will see that all the countries that have been marked as green, so ये सब हमने अभी तक cover कर ली है. Okay, now is the time to move on to the next module, which is European literature. So European literature के अंदर we are going to study all the countries except Britain. So Britain को हमने अलग से कर दिया. यूरोप में और भी बहुत सारी countries है जिनमें उनकी languages में literature लिखा गया था. For example, French में, Latin में, रशियन में, इन सब लैंग्वेजेस में काफ़ी अच्छे कैनोनिकल वर्क्स लियो टॉल्स्टॉय, गुस्ताव फ्लॉबर्ट ने लिखे हैं. उन वर्क्स के इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशंस हैं, दैट्स व्हाई इट इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ इंग्लिश लिटरेचर एज वेल. सो देन अंडर यूरोपियन लिटरेचर वी स्टडी ऑल द वर्क्स रिटन बाय ग्रेट जर्मन, फ्रेंच, इटालियन राइटर्स. सो after completing module number 4, European literature and the writers, if we go back to the world map, you will see that we have covered यूरोप एज वेल. सो अब आपका लगभग पूरा वर्ल्ड कवर हो गया है. द ओनली थिंग दैट रिमेन्स इज सम एशियन कंट्रीज जिनसे आजकल इतने क्वेश्चंस नहीं आते. तो एशियन में अगर हम बात करें तो हम स्पेसिफिकली सिर्फ इंडिया को डिटेल में स्टडी करेंगे. दैट इज आवर मॉड्यूल नंबर 5. Okay, so in Indian literature, I'm pretty sure you are aware of the fact that we have to go back to the time when India में English इंट्रोड्यूस हुई थी. सो राजा राम मोहन राय, महात्मा गांधी से लेके हम अमिताभ घोष एंड ऑल द लेटेस्ट वंस, अनीता देसाई, इन सबको हम स्टडी करते हैं. तो अगेन वी ट्रांजिशन एंड वी हैव टू कवर ऑल द ग्रेट कैनोनिकल राइटर्स दैट हैव written anything in Hindi or English in the past 100 years or so. Okay, so with that note, I would like to tell you that we come to the end of the first part of the syllabus. अभी हमने जो core writers हैं उनको cover कर लिया है. And the best news that I would like to share here is that if you're looking for video lectures which can in which you can get quick summaries of all the important works that these writers that you have discussed in module 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 have written, then you can consider enrolling in my online course for UGC NET English, because we are proud to launch India's first animated video course wherein I've explained more than 800 important plays, novels and poems in an engaging manner, and all the important writers that you will find in all these 5 modules. इनके जितने भी important works हैं जो नेट में पूछे गए हैं, all of them are covered by me in detail in the online course. You can check out the details, they are given in the description box. Okay friends, so now let's come back to where we left. So we have discussed the 5 core literary units. Now apart from that, there are several theoretical and conceptual topics that students have to study for UGC NET English exam, and these also form a very important part of the syllabus. So अगर हम बात करते हैं conceptual topics की, so then we have like a few modules that you have to do after finishing Indian literature. So this module number 6 that we have to take up is literary criticism. So this is an additional first additional module apart from the 5 core units that we have discussed, and this section covers all the major literary critics starting from Plato, Aristotle all the way to T.S. Eliot. But don't make the mistake of thinking that you have to only look at the famous critics like T.S. Eliot or let's say Plato, Socrates. You have to also look at lesser known critics like Dante, Boccaccio, Thomas Aquinas. इन सब से भी क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. सो आपको इनको भी स्टडी करना है. पूरा लिस्ट यू विल फाइंड इट ऑन माय वेबसाइट, सो यू कैन चेक आउट द लिस्ट. इट इज अवेलेबल फॉर फ्री. Then we move on to the deadliest of all, that is literary theory, something that every student is afraid of. But let me tell you, this seems like the most difficult section of the syllabus, but if you have the right person explaining you, it is extremely simple, extremely interesting. And it includes a lot of एब्स्ट्रैक्ट एंड कॉम्प्लेक्स आइडियाज जिसको अगर आप रियल लाइफ से लिंक करके पढ़ते हैं तो आपको बहुत क्विकली समझ आ जाता है. ओके, सो under literary theory you have to do specific studies of all the different theoretical frameworks that would include structuralism, formalism, new criticism, postmodernism, feminism, post-colonialism, reader response theory. So all these theories आपको पढ़ना है. इनके अंदर जितने भी important theorists हैं उनको आपको अलग अलग से पढ़ना है. And this is how you cover literary theory. Now, post literary theory, the next important topic, which is closely linked to literary theory, but in a way is a little different from literary theory, is cultural studies, which forms module number 9. Okay, so module number 8. So module number 8 में हम पढ़ते हैं cultural studies, which is a sub part of literary theory. But just like हमने post colonial literature के अंदर इंडियन को नहीं पढ़ा, separate किया because वहाँ से ज़्यादा questions आ रहे. Similarly, literary theory के अंदर हम cultural studies को नहीं डालते, उसको हम separately अलग से study करते हैं. Then post that you have another important topic, which is literary terms and devices. Now this is a topic which is technically not mentioned in the syllabus, but यहाँ से हर बार 2 से 3 questions आते हैं. Many students, what they do to prepare this topic is they are going to pick up M.H. Abrams' A Glossary of Literary Terms, and they're going to start reading it from cover to cover. But let me tell you that that book covers about 1500 plus literary terms, and it is impossible for anybody to remember all those terms. And again, the question comes that do you actually need to learn all the 1500 terms to crack UGC NET? Absolutely not. You only need to focus on about 100 to 150 terms such as blank verse, heroic couplets, bond, iambic, pentameter, इस type के terms आपको सब पता होने चाहिए. And the list is also given on my website. ये वो terms हैं जो बार बार repeatedly पूछ रहे, तो आपको इसके अलावा और कुछ पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. Now, the trick here in literary terms and devices is selective study. Focus on the terms that have been asked in previous year questions. Avoid wasting times on terms that has never been asked. Okay. Then comes the next module, which is module number 10, literary movement. Now, literary movement की अगर हम बात करें, so even though it is not explicitly mentioned in the syllabus, again, just like literary terms and devices, about 3 to 4 questions from literary movement appear every year in the exam. And you cannot ignore it because ये बहुत ही simple है. इसमें आपको एक literary movement के writers दे देते हैं और बोलते हैं कि मैच करो या बताओ इनमें से कौन सा writer doesn't belong to this particular movement. So अगर आपको basics भी पता है, so you can get those 4-5 questions right without putting in a lot of effort. So it's a very, very easy unit that most of the students do not cover because they don't know that there is something like this that they have to study for the exam. Then comes module number 11, which is linguistics and English language teaching. So linguistics pedagogy से questions आते हैं, and this is a important module because students who are from literature background, many a times they ignore linguistics and they ignore English language teaching. But it is important for a professor of English to know how language can be taught to students, and that is why they have added a module like this. So इसके अंदर you have to look at all the important linguistics के terms. You have to know different teaching methodology. You have to also know lesser known topics. जैसे अगर आप मेरे कोर्स में देखेंगे तो आई हैव एडेड सम मिसलेनियस टॉपिक्स इन दिस पर्टिकुलर मॉड्यूल. ऐसे टॉपिक्स जो और कहीं फिट नहीं हो रहे हैं, जैसे डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ डिक्शनरीज, मैगजीन्स, जर्नल्स इन देयर chronological order. Maybe you will also have miscellaneous topics like award winners के chronological order, Booker Prize winners, साहित्य अकेडमी winners. So वो सारे को भी मैंने एक अलग miscellaneous कैटेगरी बना के इसी के अंदर इंक्लूड कर दिया बिकॉज वहां से भी 2-3 क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. Then we have module number 12, which is English in India, that is explicitly mentioned in the syllabus. It basically, this unit covers how English language developed in India and what was its role in education and governance during the British rule. It includes topics like Wood's Dispatch, Macaulay's Minutes. Those of you who have already bought my UGC NET Paper 1 book, there's a कंप्लीट चैप्टर जहाँ से कुछ कुछ टॉपिक्स यहाँ पे मूव कर रहे हैं, एंड दैट चैप्टर इज फ्रॉम यूनिट नंबर 10 हायर एजुकेशन। उसके अंदर जब हम प्री एंड पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस कमीशंस की बात करते हैं तो वहां पे ये सारे टॉपिक्स आते हैं। तो ये थोड़ा थोड़ा पेपर 1 के साथ में ओवरलैपिंग है ये यूनिट। एंड देन फाइनली वी हैव मॉड्यूल नंबर 13 रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी, अगेन समथिंग दैट वी ऑलरेडी स्टडी फॉर UGC नेट पेपर 1। सो यहाँ से भी ओवरलैप है काफी हद तक। सो इफ यू ऑलरेडी हैव माई बुक ऑफ UGC नेट पेपर 1, you can directly go through unit 2 research methodology। उसमें मैंने बहुत सारे मूवीज एंड पॉप कल्चर के रेफरेंसेस देके आपको बहुत डिफिकल्ट टॉपिक समझाए हैं। आई हैव गिवन यू अ लॉट ऑफ लर्निंग शॉर्टकट्स, mnemonics, tables, diagrams to help you learn all of this। So if you refer to that unit, तो आपका research methodology is taken care of। You don't have to do any separate study for this particular topic। Okay, so the reason I wanted to discuss this entire 13 module structure in detail is to make you realize how vast the syllabus is, and if you are procrastinating or delaying your preparation, or if you think that you are going to do it in last 1 month, then let me tell you, it's high time that you start now। You can look at the number of writers you have to cover, and with a proper strategy and consistency and discipline, you can tackle this humongous syllabus in the next 3-4 months। Okay friends, so now that we've understood the syllabus in detail, the next big question that is going to pop inside your head will be, how do we complete this humongous syllabus in the time that we have left before the exam? And many students feel extremely overwhelmed looking at this vast syllabus, and they keep thinking that how will I ever able to finish all of this? But don't worry, there's a very simple trick that I'm going to give you today in this video that will help you break down the humongous syllabus into manageable daily targets so that you can complete your syllabus efficiently। Okay, so we are going to again do a 3-step process। The step 1 would be that the first thing that you will have to do is you have to calculate how many days are left before your exam। So let's say you have about 3.5 months remaining, okay, before the exam, let's say। So in that case, you have approximately 100 days left before the exam। So first you calculate the number of days। Now, step 2 would be to look at your syllabus, and after that, calculate the number of writers and topics that you have to study based on the list that you prepared after analyzing the PYQs, or if you are referring to the syllabus that I have on my website, then you can even refer to that। So approximately what you will get is about 800 writers and topics that you will have to study। So I have and divided literary theory and criticism also into writers। So उन सबको include करके अगर आप एक total list बनाते हो तो about 800 writers की list बनती है। That is step number 2। So now you have two numbers। You have number of days left before the exam, you have number of writers that you need to cover। Third step is the most crucial step, where you are going to use these two numbers to finally find out the number of writers you will have to cover on a daily basis। So you have to divide the total number of writers by the number of days remaining। For example, if we have 800 writers and we have 100 days, that means आपको दिन के 8 राइटर करने हैं। अब अगर आपको लगता है कि आपके दिन में इतना समय नहीं है कि आप 8 राइटर्स को करें, बिकॉज हर राइटर के वर्क्स को भी आपको डिटेल में करना होगा, so what you can do is you can reduce the number of writers that you want to cover। So let's say 100 days आपके पास है, तो 800 writers की जगह you can टारगेट कि मैं 500 राइटर्स करके जाऊंगा, बिकॉज कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम में कभी भी कोई पूरा सिलेबस तो करके नहीं जा सकता। यू हैव टू डिफाइन योर ओन लक्ष्मण रेखा एंड प्ले विद इन दैट बाउंड्री। सो आप अगर 500 राइटर्स का भी डिसीजन लेते हो एंड रोज के 5 राइटर्स करते हो, तो इन 100 डेज यू कवर ऑल द 500 राइटर्स। दिस मीन्स दैट you do not have to feel overwhelmed looking at this detailed syllabus। You have a very step-by-step method using which you can tackle the entire syllabus। Okay, this method gives you clarity। You exactly know how much to study each day instead of randomly picking topics। Plus it removes procrastination, because you know कि आपने एक दिन नहीं किया तो अगले दिन आपको 10 राइटर करने होंगे। So instead of stressing over the syllabus, you focus on small daily goals। and अगर आप रोज छोटे छोटे pebbles move करते हो, तो you will not be far from the day when you are able to move the entire mountain। Okay, So, on that positive note, I would like to take your leave. That's it from my side for this video lecture. We'll meet very soon in the next video lecture. Till the time we meet next, happy learning, keep loving literature, and stay tuned to arpitakarwa.com.